Good morning, everyone. We're going to call this meeting of the call this special meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order today. It's Wednesday, June 22nd, 2016. It is 9 a.m. We're in the community center at the Sierra Room at 851 East William Street. Today we're going to take up two items that we'll talk about on the agenda here. One is the canvass of the vote, and two is another hearing on the community development, which we'll talk about. But the record will reflect that we have all five board members here this morning. Brad, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Supervisor Brankowski. Okay, we're now on item number 4, public comment. Anybody want to do public comment at this time? Anybody? I don't see anybody. Any changes to the agenda, City Manager?
No change.
Board members, you okay with the agenda? All right, then unless there's an objection, we will take the agenda as published. We'll now take up the first item on the agenda. This is from Sue Merriweather, the Clerk Recorder. This is to consider and possibly accept the canvass of the vote for the 2016 primary election. Sue?
Good morning, Mayor and members of the board. Sue Merriweather for the record. I'm presenting to you the canvass of the 2016 primary election. The election went very well. We had a few new election workers this year, which worked out really well. So we had all our experienced workers there and training all our new ones, getting ready for the big general election in November. We had one unusual event. On election night, we had an electronic ballot come in at 6:10, and it wasn't noticed until the next morning, and we had our duplicating and certification board there, so they went ahead and duplicated that ballot and added that to the results the day after the election, so that those votes were counted. It was for a federal-only ballot. We had 2 polling places on election day. I'm sure a lot of you noticed that we had the courthouse as an optional polling place, and because of the electronic poll books, the voters had the option to go to either polling place, which they really liked that. We got a really good response on that. We had 11 days of early voting at the courthouse only. And we had a few fleeing voters, if you notice in your on the official ballot statement.
You want to explain what a fleeing voter is?
Yes,
I
will.
We do it every year. I know. It is, but it sounds odd.
I know. The fleeing voters are a mystery to us. The only explanation we can have for this is when a voter comes in, we check them in, obtain their signature, and they go to the voting machine with their voting card. They for some reason don't put their voter card in, and they stand there, I don't know, or walk out or forget to vote, or we really don't have any explanation for it, but that's one of the things that we do go through training. We try, and if you notice on election day, everybody in the red vests or early voting, we try to train them to really watch and pay attention to voters that may struggle, putting their card in, and make sure that they actually put their card in, vote their ballot, and the voter card comes out, and they walk out with their voter card. For some reason, there's a couple people that slip through the cracks that I don't know if they decide they don't want to vote or what, but they end up leaving without casting a ballot. And so that leaves an undervote on the voting machines.
Any provisional ballots?
No provisional ballots this time. I believe we're going to have several in the general election. Provisional ballots are for federal offices only. So, I think you'll see a lot more people that feel like they were registered, and we'll let them vote, and hopefully they could prove us wrong. But usually when someone comes in and they say that they were a registered voter, we go through a lot of steps to make sure that we didn't mistakenly not get them in. We have a file of applications that are received late. My staff puts them in alphabetical order, and, we explained to them that, we received it too late. We did have some issues with some of the voter registration drives, registering voters prior to the close of registration and not getting us those applications in time to register them to vote. And I voiced my concerns to the Secretary of State that we need to get some legislation out there and mandate that these applications are delivered to the clerks on time, because that is probably one of our biggest issues with people saying that they're registered to vote, and they actually did register in time. It's just these voter registration drives didn't deliver them to our office in time, and if we don't receive them in time, we can't register them by law.
What are those times, Sue?
Well, we have, the close of registration falls on the 5th Saturday before the election, or 30 days before the election. So they have to have them in our office. Our office is actually open that day. They can be postmarked that day, but they usually end up walking them into our office like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after the close of registration. And a person can still register in person in our office, but they have to provide proof of residence and identity to the clerk. And you could register online until midnight, 10 days after that date. So it's the Tuesday before early voting. You could actually register to vote in person in our office or online. So if we could, relay that. And usually when we get applications late, if they have a phone number, we will call those people and tell them, we received your application late. You could register online or come into the office to vote in the election. I also wanted to take this time to thank all of the election workers that worked for us, and maintenance, IT, parks, and especially my staff, Sylvia, Beth, Carol, Sandy, Jennifer, and our new Chief Deputy, Aubrey, who made it through her first election. Their commitment and their hard work is very much appreciated, and I just wanted to put that out there. Any questions?
Any questions to Sue? Anybody? Go.
Yeah, so if I understood you correctly, by law, you can't take a voter registration form that has been filled out if it comes in past that 5th Saturday before the election, but that same person could come into the office and fill out that same form in front of you, and that would be okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Public comment? Anybody? All right. Motion's in order to execute the canvass. Somebody want to do it? Okay. Go.
I move to accept the canvass of the vote for the 2016 primary election.
Motion and a second on the motion. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried unanimous. Okay. Let's take up, I'll get these back here. Take up item number 7. We'll open the public hearing to take public comment regarding the filing of the assessment roll for the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District, to consider written objections concerning the area to be assessed, and to consider all complaints, protests, and objections to the assessment pursuant to NRS 271.385. Mr. Plemmel, the hearing is now open. Tell us what's going on here.
Sure. Good morning. Lee Plemmel, Community Development Director. Thanks for indulging us with a couple more items on the agenda this morning to complete this Neighborhood Improvement District process. There's 3 items on the agenda. The first one is required, that are 3 items that are required by NRS to implement and levy the assessment for the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District annually. The first item is the public hearing, second item being adoption of a resolution, third item being introduction of an ordinance. So on this first item, the assessment roll, we've set notices out that a complaint, protest, or objection may be made with regard to the assessment roll, the regularity, validity, and correctness of each assessment, the amount of each assessment, or the regularity, validity, and correctness of any other proceedings occurring prior to the adoption of the ordinance. And those notices were sent out saying that written complaints are to be filed 3 days before the public hearing. I have not received any written complaints. However, that notice is also required by NRS to say that protests will be heard, considered at this meeting, either in writing or verbally. So, of course, if I think be prudent to take any public comment and any protest that you may hear today, even though NRS says we haven't received any in writing the last 3 days. And I've had contact with a couple of property owners with some questions. I've received no protest, either verbally or in writing. We have a property owner here within the district I was talking to a little bit, as I told Mr. Riggs. The steps from here after today are going to be the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District Board is going to conduct a meeting, hold elections, and then with that group, we're going to start working on the nuts and bolts of an agreement and the details of maintenance. And we're going to send out, we're working together with them to get the labels, to get notices out of those meetings to all of the property owners within the district. So that's what's happening today.
Board comments or questions? Public, anybody? Any? Public hearing. Great. Public hearing going twice. Anybody? Okay, then we're going to close the public hearing on this item, and we'll move to item 7B.
I'll stay here and introduce these. This is for possible action to adopt a resolution confirming the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District assessment, dispensing with complaints, protests, and objections to the assessment, and ratifying the city engineer's assessment role for FY 2016-17 for the downtown NID and maintenance of the downtown streetscape enhancement project. As I said, notices have gone out. The assessment notice of it has been sent to all the property owners and has been available in our office. I've handed it out. It's also, we've directed people to our website where it's also available.
Board members, we've been through this a couple times. Public comment, anybody on this one? I don't see any motions in order.
What's the resolution number?
216R19.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2016R19, confirming the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District assessment, dispensing with complaints, protests, and objections to the assessment, and ratifying the city engineer's assessment role for the downtown NID for the maintenance of the downtown streetscape enhancement project.
Motion and second on the motion. Discussion. Supervisor Shirk.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, I will be voting no on this. I did not vote in favor of the narrowing of the street, nor did I vote in favor of this improvement district, because I don't think it's fair and balanced to all property owners.
Further discussion on the matter, on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, did you get that? Okay, did 4-1. 4 yes, 4-1 no. All right, let's take up item 7, Charlie. This is a first reading on ordinance to levy the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District assessment for FY 2016-2017 for the maintenance of the downtown streetscape enhancement project. Mr. Plemmel, what are we doing here again?
Same thing, no additional information on this. This is, again, just another step in the process. So this is the ordinance. I have passed the assessment along to the assessor's office a couple weeks ago, so he can start inputting this, but this will be the final legal action when we have second reading on this ordinance.
Board members, comments, concerns? Public comments or concerns? Motion's in order.
I move to introduce on first reading Bill number 111, an ordinance to levy the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District assessment for the maintenance of the downtown streetscape enhancement project.
Second.
Motion is second on the motion. Discussion. Supervisor Shirk.
Just want to reconfirm that I'll be voting no on this. Again, I did not vote in favor of narrowing the street, nor the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement District and the assessments made against property owners, because I think they're unfair and unbalanced in what is provided to those property owners.
On the motion, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried 4-1. I got you. I got that right, Jim?
Yep.
4, nay. Okay. All right. Public comment, concluding public comment for this special meeting. Anybody? I don't see any. Then unless there's an objection, we will adjourn the special meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We're adjourned.